Girl! Slay the house down boots, mama.
Now that was a bad choice.
Right. No. Don't try to change the subject. Spill the tea.
Okay, but what was she expecting?
Well, that bitch is crazy.
Honestly, pop off. We should have talked first.
Can you blame her?
She should probably drink a little less. Literally. Well, let's get into it then. It's time to spill the tea with Damon B. Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Spill the Tea with Damon B. With me is Graham.
Hi.
Hi everyone.
Hi,
And
everyone.
if you're watching this on video, Grandma's hair is very business in the front, party in the
Okay, I'm
left.
just, yeah, exactly. I'm showing you. Remember we were talking about the pony? This is so cute. And I just ordered, okay, this is my hair right here, right now. But I just ordered 2 pieces that you can actually clip in that look just like this. So, like for me, I just find like I'm really lazy with my hair. So this is clipped on my horrible little bun, which I'm not going to take it off because it takes a little bit, but my horrible little bun is under there. And then if I get these 2 clips at the front, I can just put all my hair up and then just clip the clips in, throw something on here, and look at that.
Wow. See, I
Yeah.
lost interest 1 minute into that dialogue, so but that sounds great.
You're completely gone.
Sorry. Today we're
Your
gonna be
face
talking.
was so blank.
It's because I had to change my microphone settings, so yeah. My bad.
Okay. Well, next time
Okay.
I'll show you something else because I'm really lazy about my hair, but this is so simple. So,
Well, I like this. It looks like a high ponytail.
yeah, it does. And then next time I'll show you the Karen bun.
The Karen bun? Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, you'll love that.
Oh my god. Okay, so today we're talking about the T in the LGBTQ plus community, which stands for transgender.
LGTV.
Grandma doesn't know the order of the letters, and she doesn't even know the letters
The letters.
past
LGT.
G.
LGP. I don't know.
LGBTQ. Wait,
See, I'm going to
my
write it
fingers
down
are
right
so
now.
confused.
L
Okay.
G
B
B
T
T
T Q.
Q.
Okay, now there's a new one. So it's at the very beginning. You put the number 2.
Before the
And,
L?
yeah, the
Okay.
number 2 and the letter S. 2SLGBTQ. And then it's at the
And
very
then the
end.
feather, isn't there a feather or something?
At the very end, you put IA and then a plus sign. So it's 2S LGBTQ plus IA community. Or IA plus community. Oh my god.
What is the IA? Okay. All right. Let's just start from the beginning. Okay. Who is 2?
That's the Two-Spirit community, I'm
Okay.
pretty
So
sure.
that's the
So the
indigenous.
indigenous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. The S.
Let me Google it really quick. Even though I'm gay, I don't know what everything means. Oh wait, I think the 2S might go together. Two-Spirit. Hang on.
Oh, okay. Okay. That
Hang
makes
on.
sense.
LGBT. Okay. 2SLGBTQIA plus. Here we go. Oh yeah. Okay, so it's together. Two-Spirit. And then
Okay.
it's lesbian,
Yes.
gay,
Okay.
bisexual,
I.
trans, queer,
Okay.
questioning.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
What is the difference between queer and gay?
That's a great question, grandmother.
Okay.
Let me finish the acronym,
All
and
right.
then
All right.
I'll Google the difference
Okay.
between queer and gay. Questioning, intersex, and asexual. Okay. Difference between gay and queer. I feel like one's more fluid and the other one's strictly dickly.
Oh, like one is to male because you got lesbian, so maybe gay is specifically male.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Over time, queer acquired a number of meanings related to sexuality and gender, from narrowly meaning gay or lesbian to referring to those who are not heterosexual. Oh, so maybe it's like people who are into like transgendered people and
Oh,
they're just not
so
heterosexual.
mm, I gotta move my screen a little bit.
They're not heterosexual or not cisgender. And cisgender, from my understanding, is I'm a cis man, so CIS, which means I identify as a male, like I am a male born. I'm a male born,
Cis.
and I
So is that only towards men, or is that cis
no,
female, cis male?
I think female. You can use cis female, cis male.
Oh, okay,
Mm,
okay.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Anyways, that long acronym, we're gonna focus on the T today
T.
because T. We're spelling the T with Damon B. That just happened to work out.
Okay. Yay! It's like a cheer.
Yeah.
Woo. Woo, woo,
Well,
woo.
so,
Okay.
okay, from your perspective, when did you first learn about trans people?
Oh. Well, there used to be a show on TV when I was a little kid called MASH. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy in MASH used to dress like a woman so he could get out of the army. So so at that time, so this is how we were raised. So this I think that that show was in the 70s and well, it would have been because I was a kid in the 70s. So late 60s, 70s. And what I understood of that, so I was a little kid, and what I understood of that is that had mental he was trying to show that he had mental health issues by dressing like a woman to get kicked out
Oh,
of the army. Okay, he was in Vietnam and he wanted to go home, and he thought the way he could do it was by dressing like a woman, and they then would take that as having mental health problems. So that just tells you where that begins, right? So
yeah.
so in my little impressionable brain, I associated a man dressing as a woman as mental health problems,
Mental illness, yeah.
mental illness, right?
Yep.
So I mean, and I'm assuming that was very intentional on some parts, somewhere, however that works, and so that's where I first ever saw a man dressed as a woman. I don't recall the next time that maybe what was that movie with Robin Williams,
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire? That might be the next
Yeah.
time. So
So I
that's
would
my
say
exposure.
I would say that's more drag because as long as
Oh, I
I,
see. Okay.
yeah, as they identify as like male outside of dressing as a female, more trans is like when you feel
Oh,
you are
like you.
born a male and then
Oh,
you want to be like a female. If you were born a male and you want to be a female.
okay. And so for me to be even exposed to that would have been when I started in working in the hospital as a transcriptionist and understanding that people there actually were people that were born. Um,
Mm.
there are babies that are actually born, and it's not very often, but it does happen where they have both um, penis and vagina. And up until a certain time, the doctor would make the determination as to what that baby was going to be. So the doctor would say, "Okay, we're going to remove the penis," which would be the easiest. Now
Wow.
parents are given the choice of waiting to see which way the child, because quite often those children are born with all reproductive organs. So they could be a female and live a
Wow.
female life with, or they could be a male and live a male life and all be normal. So that's the first time I ever saw that that was actually a thing. I never knew that. Um, And then, yeah, just being in the medical community and seeing that, yes, there's people that are like getting breast implants and penis surgery and getting vaginal surgery and whatever to
Yeah.
become male or female. And that I truly believe that there are people that are born and they're just not the right sex.
Yeah. And people say like it's a choice, and I was like, I don't feel like it's a choice. Like I didn't choose to be gay. I don't think they're choosing to want to be like a female
Yeah,
or
I think
male.
that would be
You
a
know.
really difficult place to be in. Now, I would be very careful as a parent um, to change anything. That would be my concern as a parent. I wouldn't, and I think my generation all feel the same. I think a child should be 18 or beyond. And medically, I think they should be too, because I don't believe a child is actually fully developed even before they're 20, even before they're 25 in their brain. So I feel like surgery wise, I think it should be protected until they're very much old enough to make that determination. Um, but I think some kids, you can just tell. I think there's kids that, I mean, they're born and they just are girls or they're boys. Like
Yeah.
they start playing with trucks and they're into that and but again, I wouldn't start any type of surgeries or anything until they're fully developed. Medically, just for a medical point of view, is to be completely developed in all
Yeah.
aspects of the body. You know what I mean? Like even
No.
starting
Yeah.
hormones or doing something like that. I think it's really important for the body to develop first and then start looking at that kind of stuff. Dressing wise, hey, dress how you like. And I don't have this big thing like people have over the bathrooms. That's a big
Hmm.
issue now too, and
Oh my god.
what
Okay.
is going on with that?
The bathrooms, I don't really get because honestly, it's just walk. Everyone's just going to do their business in the washroom. No one should be like hooking up, doing anything sexual, like whatever. And actual trans people are just going in there to do their business. They're not,
Right.
trying to be creepy or anything like that. Now, there are instances, a very small percentage of people who will say they're trans, even though they're not. They're just perverts who will pretend to dress up like a woman so they can go in the washroom.
Yeah, but can't they do that anyway?
Yeah, they can do that anyway. Exactly.
Like, somebody could do that anyway at the Walmart bathroom.
Hmm.
Nobody's looking at anybody that closely, and if a man walks in dressed up as a woman and walks into the woman's bathroom, I don't know how many people are gonna notice that, and I certainly wouldn't notice it if the person goes in and just does their business and leaves. I'm
Yeah.
not paying attention that much.
Exactly. I don't know anyone who's met someone in a washroom before. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bumped in,
Mhm.
had a conversation, they're best friends, or like a
Yeah.
relationship built from a washroom
Now,
encounter.
that has happened at the bar.
At the okay, the bar is a different
Yeah,
scenario. Yeah.
but otherwise, I don't think when you're out shopping at the shopping mall,
Yeah.
that you're making friends in the bathroom, except for
Yeah.
maybe you. I don't know.
Because I'm gay. Is that what we're
No, but
saying?
you told me about one time you made a friend
Oh
and you
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, that was yeah.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, that was not good.
No.
But typically you just go in to use the washroom and then leave. So, um, that's that.
Yeah, and,
And
now I do okay, so then there's the question, which I think that in public school, like to grade 8, I think that, yes, bathrooms to me should be boys and girls. And I just think that little children should be left alone. Like people should stop talking about any of this to little children. Not even if it's like if they dress like a boy or and they're a girl or vice nobody should be making any big deal about it. No production, whatever. Once they get out of public school, then high schools need to be a little more on it. And maybe you need a bathroom monitor. I don't know,
well,
because there's a lot
they
of stuff goes on in high schools. We know that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like boys going into girls' bathrooms for other reasons than than that, or a couple doing that and somebody walking in and seeing that. So I think there's got to be different rules for different school ages.
Well, I think, which a lot of schools are implementing now, is like a non-gender washroom, like a neutral washroom, where it's just a one-person washroom.
Right,
Where
or do that,
yeah,
or stalls that are floor to ceiling, one door, like a door that you open, close, and lock.
hmm
That's fine. Then kids go in because kids don't really notice that, I don't think, as boys and girls.
and I don't think they care.
Yeah,
It's just kids are born free-spirited. They don't care who's
right,
who,
and
the
I
color of
think their
people's skin.
parents
Like it's
make more of
literally
an
just
issue.
yeah.
Yeah,
It,
sorry, go ahead, you go.
I was gonna say
I talk too much.
it's just society's point of view, like that helps develop the child. Well, that's like with anything, their beliefs
Mhm.
system and how it's every like how they grow up, right? So it's everyone like in their ear, which starts to form opinions and stuff. But if you literally just left a kid like alone without like all these biases and stuff, they grow up not being racist, not
Right, because they wouldn't
all these
realize that
things.
that exists, like, and little
Exactly.
children, and if any, like, if you're having a child, I wish I would have known this and realized this when my children were born, is that they're just a blank page, and
Yeah.
you're the one who molds that page and writes all over that and writes in it and says, "Here's how you're going to be, and this is what you're
Mhm.
gonna be." And if you start them out that way, and even in the schools, strongly say in public school, they should not have any talk, like real focus on any of this. You know how right now, if a teacher says something about gay parents, she can be fired. And, so
Mhm.
then the parent has to sit down with the little kid and say, hey, Johnny, don't talk about your dad at school because your dad's,
Yeah.
because you could get your teacher fired. I mean, that's the weight of the world on a little kid. That shouldn't happen. There should be nothing. It should be just talk and whatever and play until a certain age, till grade 6 anyway, and until they start
Poker
getting
six.
into sexual kind of thinking more about those kinds of things. And then I don't know. I think even that there's a lot of, I don't know.
So I think it
So
should just
hard.
be like just everyday life. Like no one really cares. Like if my child asks, like, "Oh, Tommy has two dads," I'd be like, "Oh," or
Yeah, I think
like,
there should be an explanation in that, okay, well, that's at Tommy's house. That's
yeah,
okay. That happens there. What happens at your house happens at your house. What happens at his house happens at his house. Like, I don't get this whole like, oh my God, we can't tell our kids anything. We can't, give them sexual um education and so early. And I think a little kid should be left alone. That there shouldn't be anything like that. If it comes up, so you answer the question, you answer it directly, honestly, and you move on. That's it.
hmm
But and then when they start grade 6, grade 7, they definitely should be getting sexual education. Absolutely, 100%. And that should include LGBTQIA plus with the 2S in front.
I
What?
agree. I agree with yeah with the sexual education portion because
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't receive any on the on gayness, just the heterosexual.
No, it
Um,
should be about everything and everyone should be included. And because rightly what it comes down to is the same thing. When you're getting educated on sex is how not to get a disease and how not to get
mhm.
pregnant until, you're old
Until
enough
you
to
hit
have a
high
baby.
school.
Ugh.
Everyone's having babies in high school, like,
Well, they sure are down south in the southern states.
oh, really?
Well, yeah, because there's no control of any kind.
Well,
Okay, just saying.
I'm just saying. Um, do you think trans people should be allowed to compete in, like, sports of, like, their sex?
See, that's a question now that's coming up too, right? You've heard the controversy, and I
Mhm.
kind of understand the controversy being a woman and a girl, um, and I'm not very strong. Um, so like I think, you know, it would have to come from the sports teams themselves, but I just as a woman would think if a man is coming like and becomes a woman or transgenders,
Mhm.
what happens? Is that what they call it? Like
Yeah,
they
when they transition.
okay, transitions to a woman.
Mhm.
Um and then he starts say weightlifting in a weightlifting competition. I feel like he's just going to have the upper hand, and I don't know that that's fair. I don't think it is.
No, I totally agree. So what I think, kind of just to solve this whole issue, is it might as well just have a third category because where it's
Yes.
male, female, and then it's just open. It's an open category of whoever wants to compete
Right,
in the open
understanding
too.
that
Yeah.
you are if you're a woman, you're
Yeah.
probably going to be competing against men that have transitioned into being women. And I think they should do exactly that. It should be held at the same time. So say Olympics,
Hmm.
will have a subcategory or a sub
Yep.
um, thing that where transgender women are competing against each other and transgender men. And I think that would be so fair for everybody.
Well, I don't even care if they're trans. If like even I don't want to say normal, just people who
Heterosexual or bisexual,
or not
whatever,
heteros.
anybody.
They're
Yeah,
not. It's
anybody.
just people. Anybody
Okay.
can do it in this open category because even some females like they can perform better than males. So it's like if they want that, if they
Want to,
want to like
yeah, if
enter in
they
that,
want to go into a male competition
yeah.
in that, then they can go do that in
And
that.
that's open category thing.
Right.
So it's just
Okay.
like anyone can compete because it's like I look at my mom and she used to play rugby and she
Right.
used to beat
She's
up the
tough. Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
clearly
like, if
like
she became an
yeah.
MMA fighter, she'd probably kick a lot of those guys' asses,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
For her
So
weight category, I bet you she
yeah.
would. So
So
exactly,
the
and that might
people
be more
yeah,
fair to even women at that point. Some you know
right?
what I mean? So
So
and
it's
she
like
might like that.
yeah. So I think it
Yeah.
should totally be up to them. Be like, listen, there's three categories. There's male, female, and the open. Only males and females can compete for sure in the male and female. If you're transgender, you have to compete in the open, which might
Uh-huh.
seem unfair, but I think this is the fairest option for everybody.
Right, it's
Um,
either that or don't compete, and I feel like
yeah.
they have the mentally challenged or whatever they call that, Olympics, right?
The Special Olympics.
Special Olympics. So
Mm,
I think, like, I don't think they should say to transgender people, no, you can't compete, but we can have a Special Olympics. No,
mhm.
then we need to make
Oh.
another either another Special Olympics or another like something for them that they're able to do that because there's enough people that are now doing this and I people go oh there's so many more now there's not so many more now. There's so many more now that feel that they can come out of the closet and do this. That's what it
Mhm.
is. It's not that there's more. It's just they're feeling more comfortable and
Yeah.
able to be out in public and come out and do what they want to do. And it's not as boy oh boy in my generation that was not okay and that's why I was never exposed to it. I never saw that. I never heard of that. Never.
Well, the first time I seen a drag queen, I think, was or
I
someone
don't still
impersonating
think I've
female.
seen a drag queen like, in person, ever.
Oh, in person. Well, I
Yeah,
was
like
gonna say like RuPaul's Drag Race on
oh,
TV.
okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I've watched that. Is
yeah,
that what you've seen it? Okay.
yeah.
But what about in Toronto now? Like, you're down there in
Oh
the
yeah,
city, do you see anyone? Yeah,
oh yeah. I've seen drag
yeah.
queens, especially like during Pride because like that whole
Oh,
week
right.
they come out. So okay, well, which is another thing. I don't believe that people should be naked at the Pride events because I feel like it should be an all inclusive. Like anyone can go because we're all about inclusivity and being naked like there's children there, so I'm not like okay with that. You can go be nude at the nude beach, and then like the nude beach people come. They're not even gay. They just want to celebrate being nude. So there's like nudists there, and I'm like,
No, I think,
no,
and I was just talking with someone else about this, and they were talking about, you know, um, not wanting to see, I don't want to see two guys going at it on the street.
yeah,
Okay. That was the statement. And I said, well, I don't want to see a man and a woman having sex on the street. I don't want to see a man and a man on the street. I don't want to see any of that. Hand
no,
holding and being, but that's a different story. Like to me, it's a different um problem than being gay. It, that's appropriate and having proper behavior and exactly what you're saying. I don't go to the Santa Claus parade to see naked Santas.
yeah.
Okay? I don't understand why in the gay parade in Pride, I don't like I don't even want to go to it cuz I don't want to see naked people. That's not my thing.
Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah,
inappropriate to me, and I don't wanna see inappropriate public displays anytime,
yeah.
anywhere, with anybody. So, why don't they make it where that doesn't happen, and they would get a lot more inclusivity, and children, parents, I would go. I think it looks like a blast. I just don't wanna see nakedness, right?
I don't know why they don't do it either. I don't know the rules behind
Yeah,
being
I
naked,
don't
and
know either.
I feel like it should be illegal, but it's not because there's naked runners, there's naked bike riders, there's just
Like,
I
do
mean,
they just ignore it on that day? Is it just like the police go, "Hey, we're not," or is it like, I don't understand the nakedness part. I understand having the parade. I encourage it. I think it's wonderful. I think that people that wanna be in it and dress up or do whatever
mhm.
they do is great, and more color the better, but I don't understand why you have to be naked. I just don't see where that correlates with gayness at all, or transgender, or two spirits, or, like, the nakedness. Where's that come in?
I don't know either, but listen,
Like,
I was
there's no N in this title. I'm not seeing
in this
LGBTQIAN naked.
well, in the summertime, I was playing Pokemon Go, and all of a sudden
Mm.
I looked up, and there was like 80 bicycles or bicyclists with like just naked. They're all naked, and I'm like, what is going
What?
on here? I It was so weird, and they had like a police escort. So
What?
like, yeah, like it was.
How's that even comfortable?
I right. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, what do your balls just like flop on the
Yikes.
side? Like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, so that was I was like, "Oh my god, I'm out here just trying to catch Pokemon, and I'm seeing nude people." I was like, "This
So
is how."
isn't that then like that's just sort of, again, it's so like that's not about gay or straight, or like that's more about just being inappropriate. I just think
Well,
that's inappropriate for children. We
yeah,
have children, and children are out there on the street. Like, you gotta think about that. And maybe some people go, well, nakedness, there's nothing wrong with it. Yes, there is. When there's little children, yes, there is. That is very bad for little children to be looking at a stranger naked. It's not good.
it's not good. Not good.
Not good. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. I think that's traumatizing to a child.
Um, I know some people believe like because I stopped and talked to the nudists before and asked them like why did they choose to be a nudist or whatever, and they just said it's freeing. If everyone was nude, then like no one would think about like clothes or whatever. So it's like just being free, and
And
I
okay,
don't
and I that's fine. Like, but keep it to the nude, where the nude beaches, where it's
right.
appropriate. I don't walk down the street naked because I don't want to. I don't want to see other people naked. I don't. And I definitely would not want little children seeing naked people, other strangers. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just gross. It's disgusting.
No,
Ew.
yeah. Totally agree.
Ew.
So I'm not sure. See, now I wanna Google, like, what's the law? Because I don't know how. Okay, I'm just gonna
Okay,
Google,
Google it.
"How can people get away with being naked?"
Like, I just think if they weren't, they would have more people go and be more interested, but it's very hard for a parent of small children to say, "Okay, let's go down to the gay pride parade," knowing that their child might see, like, a man with no pants
Mhm.
on. It's just not okay. It's not. A little girl or a little boy, that's very traumatizing to little children. It's different if they walk into their mommy or daddy in the house and see them naked. That's 2 different things. A stranger is just ugh. And
Oh,
really, men are not, very attractive when they're naked for the most part. I just don't
it
think.
so in the States, it says the Supreme Court has ruled that nudity is not a form of expression, it's a form of dress. However, when nudity is coupled with a protest or demonstration, it becomes part of the protest or demonstration, and they're protected by the Constitution. Or like
Oh,
protests and demonstrations are protected by the
so they can
Constitution.
get naked?
I in a form of protest, I guess. Yeah, protesting
Oh,
against clothes. I don't know. Yeah.
ew. Okay, well, I don't agree with that. But it's not. I don't agree with gay people being naked. I don't agree with anybody being publicly naked.
Yeah, me either.
Now,
Uh,
I don't have an issue, however,
mhm.
if a woman is on the beach, I don't have an issue with her taking her top off. Okay?
Okay,
As long I
because
think as long as men can take their shirts off and I have to look at their titties, I think and children have to look at their titties,
okay, so if we are taking off women's tops at the beach or whatever,
and it's
then it's
totally
like,
legal. It's totally
uh,
legal for a woman in Canada to take her top off at in public now,
oh, is it?
which yes, it is.
Okay.
Because of that same reasoning, why can a man do that? And there's many men that have bigger boobies than I do, and they're taking their shirts off and they're walking around looking,
Okay,
you
now
know,
I have a question. Why did you stop and look at me when you said that?
well, I'm just saying.
Oh my
I'm just
god.
saying it. Well, I'm just saying, no, you see
Yeah.
a fairly hefty guy,
Yeah.
he's not much different than a woman in the sense of having big boobies. And I think it's only fair, and so but I don't think appropriately a man should be walking down the street without a shirt on. Although they do it, I think it's
Mhm.
disgusting. But as long as they're allowed to do it, I guess women should do it too. Maybe if women did do it more, men would start putting their shirts on. I don't know.
I think that would might I don't know
Well,
about
I'm not
heterosexual
talking
men.
about really, really great looking ladies. I'm talking
Not
about
great. Okay.
yeah, like the men that I see. A lot of men that I
Oh,
see
I
are
see.
not really, built that great, and
You know,
yeah, and
we're
they're big
just
heavy
yeah.
fellas and then they take those shirts off like it's nothing.
Free the nipple.
Yeah. Like I would be hiding under 6 robes,
Clothing.
sweaters in the middle of summer.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I don't know. So you might see me with my top off at the beach this summer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I hope not.
Can you imagine? Ah!
Grandma.
Oh god, that's crazy. Sorry.
It's
I didn't mean
disgusting.
you might be seeing me. I meant
Yeah.
y'all.
Y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about.
Yeah, we got off the transgender again.
Oh yeah, transgender. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
how do you feel about this like the physical surgery of it and the age
Okay.
limits? Like how do you feel as a gay person? Is that like is my thought process too limiting? Like, should kids or younger people have more control over that? I don't
Okay,
know.
so this is not even as a gay person. I think just my overall philosophy is I'm not inside people's heads. If whatever they're doing makes them happy, that doesn't harmfully affect other people, I think they should go ahead and do it. And the only thing is, growing up, like as a child, I think they should have to wait to a certain age. But again, like you said before, some kids you just know, like they're
Mm,
just born
mm,
to be that way. And then when
mm.
puberty like starts coming in, and then it's like, well, do you let them start taking the other hormones because it's like their voice is going to get deeper, or like the other way around,
Yeah,
they're going to develop
yeah.
breasts and like, or so it's just I don't know. I think it's a very deep conversation that the person has to have with their parents
A
and
parent
doctor.
and physician. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that too, because if you're doing it and you're not including the doctor and your parent just wants you to be happy, but yet medically it's not
Mhm.
sound or safe. I have heard of young people. I've even heard of like heterosexual girls, young, 18, going and getting breast implants. And I just think, really, like, the breast implant was really essentially for after you had babies and your body just sort of went flat and flaccid, and that kind of brought that back up and things looked a little better. Now girls are going, they're not the big enough, or and I just think, holy, like, it just seems like a lot for a young person to be doing to their body at a so
Mhm.
young, before they have children. Like, they could mess something up where you can't breastfeed your child, or something like that. If you're like, surgery always has risk. Always.
Yeah.
You could die under anesthetic, and you're only 18, like, or 17 or 16. I've heard of like parents saying, okay, go get it. You want it done, go get it done. And it's like,
Well,
holy yikes. I don't know.
I know. So I as long as it's for me, it's like safety, and then it's just like, you wanna make sure it's the choice because you don't wanna flip-flop, like, after you get it, you don't wanna regret your decision. You wanna make
Right.
sure.
Right, or
Yeah.
are you capable at 8, 17, 16, 17, 18 to understand the risk that you're taking? That's what I wonder. I wonder if you're even capable of understanding it, because a lot of teenagers will make very big mistakes
Mhm.
because they don't understand the consequence of their action. So, can they make that determination about something that big, like a surgery, before they're in their 20s? I don't
Honestly,
know.
I would say, "Let's go get a tattoo, and if you still like that tattoo in a year, then I'll let you get the surgery."
Yeah,
Because
yeah, exactly.
exactly,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Bec
Yeah, so many people get tattoos and then they go,
Yeah.
"Ew, what did I do that for?" Right.
Exactly. So I want them to have that thought process before they have a surgery like that. So I'd rather my child at 14 get a tattoo, like just a small tattoo. I'd be like, and then in a year, be like, okay, do you still like that tattoo or whatever? And if they,
Yeah. And
then
where
it
it
gets them
is and what it looks
thinking.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I think there's just a lot to think about, and I think, just knowing from, crime, so much, I read so much on crime, that children, like, really up into the age of between 23 and 25, their brain isn't even completely developed, and what their adult brain is going to be. So
Mhm.
it could be, um they get something done at 18, and then at 23 they go, oh my god, what did I do?
Yeah.
Or, like, why did I do this? Now, I don't know that you would make that extreme a decision to get, you know like, a penis, because
Yeah.
I have seen how that's done, and that is not an easy, simple operation. That is insane and painful. Like,
Oh.
they take a about that much out of your side, of your muscle and
Yeah.
tissue, and then they roll it into a penis, and then they have to go down there and attach that, and all the nerve endings of the
You
clitoris gets, yeah, it's like a major, and the one person I was watching that had it done, they it didn't work. The first one didn't work. So they had, oh my
oh,
god, so now they had to take this and put it back, so a great big scarring all over the one side, and then they decided to go to the thigh. So it was the thigh, the side of the thigh, and it was the entire piece. And then they did it again. So then all the scarring on the thigh as well. So, I mean, it's not like it's like a simple, "Oh, I'll just go get it done in a half a day." I think there
mhm,
was like 5 surgeries, and it was extremely painful. So
mhm.
people who think this is a light, just, "Oh, well, I think I'll just become a man today." Uh-uh. And vice versa for a woman to, or a man to go to a woman and have a vaginal surgery is also just
Mhm.
unreal. Like, it's unreal what they have to do. So
Oh, and also I've seen people saying, like, doctors are pressuring, like, people to get to transition, and I'm like, "What doctor would pressure some?" I really don't think this is happening,
I
like
have been in the medical, like, doing medical reports and medical
mhm,
doctors from, Ontario to East Coast, Southern Ontario to absolute up to the Arctic, and I have yet, the only time I have ever seen is a doctor saying, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Is this what you wanna do? Are you sure? You have to make sure." So, no, I have never ever seen in any way a doctor saying, now, our doctors in Canada, let's remember, because a lot of people
oh,
do
yeah.
get confused between the United States and Canada. Our doctors are paid by the government. They're not paid individually by individual patients. So, there's no kickback for a doctor here in
That's
Canada to
true.
do more of something or do less of something. They're paid by the government. In the United States, they are paid privately by private. So I don't know. Maybe things like that happen there. I don't see it. I think all doctors take an oath. You always get a bad one here and there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
for the most part, they take an oath of, that they're only here to help, and they're only here to do the right thing. So I just don't see the a doctor. You just
Yeah.
don't see it. There's no stories out there where you hear someone saying, "Oh, this, doctor made me become a woman." I've never heard that.
Right, it's like no one's holding a gun to their head really, and
No.
then so I think maybe some people might regret it because they did it too young, and they're like, "Why did the doctor let me do it?" or whatever, but then, you
Yeah, and
know
that's another thing that people don't understand. There is no age of consent truly in Canada, or I don't think in the United States either. So what that means is that even though a parent has so, is the parent, a child can actually make a decision for themselves. So if a parent says, I don't want to give this child blood transfusion because of our religion, a doctor can go to that 8-year-old and say, "Do you want to live? If you want to live, I have to give you this blood transfusion. Do you want it?" And if the child says yes, then the doctor can go with that child. That child can make that decision as long as they're mature enough to understand what they're being asked. So a 5-year-old can make a decision if they're mature enough to understand what they're being asked in Canada, and I'm pretty sure in the States. So when you say it, like, parents are parents of children. So your child is your child, and if you say no at 14 that you can't have breast implants, then they shouldn't be out there getting breast implants, and nobody should
Yeah,
be putting them in them, right?
yeah.
But I mean, they can go get them if you're not going to watch your kids, or say, "Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who gets a surgery when they're that young. I don't know."
I don't know either. Um,
Like, just think, if
yeah.
you like, if you needed that, do you think your mother was going to let you do that? I wouldn't let my children, not until they were much older.
No, I'd be like
I mean,
I don't
truly, at
know.
the
Oh god.
18, your child is an adult, so they can make
Yeah,
those decisions. But I mean, up until then, I think I would have a lot of say, especially if the child lives in my house. I
yeah.
would have a lot of say.
Well, also, I feel like the surgery is really expensive to do,
Oh,
so,
yeah, and
like,
I don't know in Canada if that is like an elective surgery. I think it is, isn't it? Like, so you would pay for
mm,
that. Like,
let me
it's not a surgery that you would get under OHIP. I think you have to pay.
you know what? I just wanna say this for the record. Fuck OHIP. I hate OHIP. I wanna move. I hate OHIP. Only pay my doctor's appointment, 15 minutes. I can only talk about one thing, which I can fit, like, 3 things into those 15 minutes, by the way. Like, it'll be a 5-minute appointment, and then I'll also have something else to say. They're like, "Sorry, OHIP doesn't cover anything
That's
else. It's just."
bullshit. OHIP
And
covers the visit. It doesn't cover what you talk about. It
I
doesn't,
literally
truly. That I
I
know. You know
oh,
what that is? That's just a lazy doctor or a doctor that wants you to come back and back and back, like, many times and get more money for each visit.
well, I
That's what
wanna
it
punch him in
is.
the fucking face. That's what I wanna
Yeah.
do because it's just like, I you're so booked up. I can only see you once every 2
Yeah.
months.
Yeah,
So then it's
exactly.
just like then I have to take time off work so I can take the bus down to the fucking doctor's office
I just
and
went
then see
into
him.
my nurse practitioner. I swear to
Mhm.
God, 8 things. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah. Yeah. So that's not true. It's not true at all what they're saying. And what you want to say is,
Mm.
I know that's not true, and I need this taken care of today. This is urgent for me. I need it done
Um,
urgently.
well, I also know what is that called? Oh, for, like, prescription coverage and stuff? God, I hate private insurance. What I don't like is if you work for a company that has like insurance, they make you take it, even though. So when I was unemployed or whatever, right?
Hmm.
All my drugs were covered by the government under OHIP or whatever because I was unemployed and I'm under 25 or 24, whatever the age is. So they were all covered. Next thing you know, I have this private health insurance, right? Sounds great. Sounds like I'm rich, rich, rich. And then
Hmm.
next thing you know, the private insurance is just like, oh yeah, we don't cover some of your medications. And then I'm like, well, how much is it out of pocket? And they're like $1,000. I'm like, are you fucking crazy? Like, no. um, yeah. So does I want to say,
OHIP, does OHIP
yeah,
cover um
uh, what's like,
transitional surgery or
yeah,
transgender surgeries?
transgender surgery.
I don't think it
Um,
does.
OHIP funds some transition related
Oh.
surgeries. The patients apply for prior approval. The approval must be received before the surgery takes place in order for the service to be insured. There's like a whole document. Gender confirming surgery. Um, if you are eligible, the service is covered under OHIP. Okay, well, what makes you eligible? Like, two assessments recommending surgery from a qualified doctor, nurse practitioner. Honestly, nurse practitioners might as well be doctors. They can do it like almost everything the exact
That's
same.
what I have as a nurse practitioner, and I like it better than I have ever had. He's fabulous.
Doctors are egotistical as
Well, not
most of
all.
them.
I
Not
mean,
all of them. No, not
no,
all of
there's a
them,
lot of
but
good doctors, and then there's it's just like anyone. Doctors are people, and they get into, I think they're very overworked. I will say that. They're very overworked in this country, and I think it's difficult for them
mhm,
because of the healthcare issues that we have right now. And I think they're overwhelmed. And I think then they just get very short and not very friendly. And it's just all part of the system. But for the most part, a doctor is their personality. Some of them, they don't go into being a doctor because they're Mr. Wonderful or Mrs. Wonderful. They
I
go
think
in for a reason.
if you wanna be a doctor, you should have at least some social skills. Like,
Some
you know
of
what I
them
mean?
don't.
You have to, like people to a certain extent to be in a, like,
Some of them are
practice.
very scientific minded base, like, their mind
Yeah.
is they're very into the science of everything, and so they don't really have a lot of bedside manner, as they call it. Um, but then there's lots that are really good, and they're just overwhelmed, and sometimes you just gotta kinda stop them and say, "Hey, I'm a person, like, remember that."
I've had 2 really good doctors where they actually care and say, "Let's take some blood tests or whatever, let's find out what's going on." And then some
Mhm,
other ones are like, "5 minutes, here's a prescription, try it, if it doesn't work, come back." And I'm like,
mhm, mhm.
You didn't ask me about this, this, and this.
Right. Yeah,
What's
it's
the tea?"
it's it's hard.
Yeah.
I can't imagine transgender people have a very good time figuring all that out in the
Mhm.
medical community either. I can't imagine that there's a lot in Canada that, like, maybe in Toronto, I think our best hospitals are in Toronto, so I'm assuming that's the best place to go.
Yeah,
Um, in, this side of the country, maybe in BC, too, there might be some really good hospitals with good transgender transitional doctors. But I wonder in Canada how I I, I would imagine it's kind of difficult
oh,
to
yeah.
find a doctor and to find, like, to figure it all out. I think it probably would take you years to just
Yeah,
get there, from when you finally decide I'm going to become a man to actually a surgery. I would imagine that there's a lot of years in there that you're figuring out who's paying for it, what surgery you're getting, who's going to do it. And I just
right?
had a doctor here, and they're always moving away and quitting, or somebody's leaving, or like I had one put
Yeah.
that metal thing in my head, and I just got a letter, well, he's moving. So, like, he's gone. He's not here anymore. And I'm like, "Well, who's looking after my metal
My metal plate in my head.
my metal post?" So,
Oh,
I mean, I would imagine they run into the same thing, only that's really much more serious.
yeah,
Like, what they're dealing with. Like, what if they get halfway through a transitional surgery and that doctor decides, well, he's going to go home to India, or whatever happens, or I'm going to go work in the United States and make more money. I'm sure there's lots of obstacles for those people. So people who say it's a choice, I'm telling you, that is no choice. Nobody is making that choice to live that way. Nobody. I
yeah.
I can't imagine someone that would just wake up one day and go, I'm gonna I'm gonna be a man just to fuck around with people. No. I mean, dress like it, okay, but not actually changing their whole their whole physical,
Yeah.
sexual, whatever. I just cannot imagine that. I can't.
And again, if like I said, if someone's not hurting someone else, like let them do their own thing. If people like I don't think it's harmful for a man to transition to a woman or a woman to transition to a man. If it makes them happy, do it.
Absolutely. And the other thing is what is happening right now on the news, for some political parties,
Mhm.
is they're focusing on, um, these transgender and, um, um, transvestite, or what do we call,
Drag
uh,
queens?
drag queens, and they're focusing on this population, and we have to remember that at one time people also focused on a population of very dark skinned people, or focus on people with slanted eyes, and then they start being racist, and they start being terrible to this one small group of people. So when a news organization, Fox News, starts focusing on a very small, we have to remember that transgender and, like, this community makes up a very small part of our population. Very
Yeah.
small, tiny small. I don't know how much, but it's not enough for you, for anybody out there that is sort of homophobic, to get upset about. But yet they are, because there's a whole political party that's starting to bash down on these people. There's a whole community of religion that is bashing on these people, and it seems that humans need to have a dog to kick. And when they don't have a
Right?
dog to kick, right, when they don't have a dog to kick, they're gonna go find one. And it just so happens right now that it's you guys because you guys are standing up. And what has to happen is this whole community has to continue to stand up, fight. But you don't got to get naked in your parades.
You know what? I hope aliens come down so then they can be the next people that we can bash on. Because
Well, I don't know. I don't know because at some points I think that dogs are treated a little bit better at this point in
oh,
society than some transgender or um, drag queens and things like that. But I feel like I said, I to this day have never actually seen a drag queen. Yet sure see a lot in the news about them. But
also, sorry. The advertisement. Okay, I just want to say people are upset. Like if there's a drag show or something, or if there's a sign that has anything to do with the LGBTQ plus community, it's like propaganda, and we're forcing people to see it. You know how many Bible verses or church things I get in my mailbox? I was like,
yeah, yeah,
what the fuck? I was just
yeah.
like, no.
Yeah, and I'm having a little issue right now, just about simply some religious stuff that was posted on Facebook, and the fact that there's again they have to have a dog to kick, and when you don't, and
Mhm.
I feel like if you're a Christian, you shouldn't be kicking any dogs ever. No dogs, no dogs kicking, no dogs, no people, no nothing. Because if you're a Christian, you should be loving everyone and including everyone in the fold. And if you're not a Christian and you are not doing what you say Jesus wanted you to do, which I get like I don't believe and I'm a better Christian than some people. I don't believe in it, but I do better than some people I know. And that it has got me furious right now. Furious right now.
I used to be like so furious. I kind of given up on like I'm
Don't
like,
give
you know
up.
what? Well, I'm not it's just like there's no point of like hating. I
I
don't know.
don't
I'm not like
no.
it's frustrating when it's just like you they can't see like the hypocrisy and stuff and then I'm
Right.
just like okay. I'm like I can't tell you anymore that what you're doing is just like totally against what you believe in and then
Right.
it just continues to happen.
Right, and it's hypocritical, and it's
Yeah.
like saying, "I'm a Christian, I love everybody except"
Except
no.
XYZ.
Yeah, there's no except, and that's the thing. As a
Mhm.
as a non-Christian or as a non-denominational person, I do love everybody. That's crazy. I love everybody, and
Crazy.
guess what? I don't care if you dress like a man, I don't care if you dress like a woman, I don't care if you go get a penis. Because what goes on in someone else's bedroom, as
Yeah.
long as it's legal, I don't care if you're sleeping with 3 men, 3 women and 3 men, 3 men and 4 women. I don't care. I don't care because it's not my bedroom. I don't care. And nobody else should either. It's
Mm.
just I find it insane that people are so interested. And that makes me think that they're fearful. And when somebody is bashing and kicking the dog, it's because they're afraid of the dog.
Well, do you remember when women couldn't vote? Like, there's women, there's
Hey,
like
I'm not that old,
racism.
Damon.
Okay, sorry, I forgot. I was just kidding.
Well, you said, "Do you remember?"
Do
I
you
don't
remember
remember.
when you couldn't vote for the longest time
I
and then
know,
you
it's
were finally
crazy.
able to vote?
Mhm.
How did
Yeah,
that make
that
you
one.
feel?
Yeah. But actually, if you think about it, my grandmother was not allowed to vote, right?
See?
And
And
and then eventually was. So or maybe when was that? When did they get the vote? 1917?
um let's
Look it
look.
up, Damon.
Okay. When
Oh, I'm just
were
loving this hair. I'm gonna have to go out like this.
it's comments like that that's why the law said women aren't allowed to vote.
Oh, it's so cute.
Okay, when were women allowed to vote?
I think it was 19.
1918.
Okay. And my grandmother was born, I believe in okay, so she was too young. She was born in 1917. So her mother couldn't vote her whole life probably or most of it. And I don't know, but I think the point is that again, a whole society of dogs that were being kicked. And also at that time, you could beat your wife with a rod or stick the size of your thumb. Some men have big thumbs. Yeah, and that's in the Bible. So is that okay? Is that good? Do we all still go with that? I mean, somebody quoted the Bible the other day on my Facebook, and it was about gay people. But yet, I wonder is that person's spouse still beating them with a stick? I don't know.
Oh my god, Grandma!
Well,
Oh my
maybe
god,
that
that's
should be
so
happening.
bad.
Maybe that should be happening. I don't know. If we're gonna go
Yeah,
completely
if we're
by the Bible, right, for everything, then maybe that should still be happening for those that believe in all of that witchcraft and whatever. Okay, I'm angry.
I mean, hey.
Don't get me mad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. Okay, I think we covered a lot about
Okay.
this.
I liked
I
it.
think
I like
yeah,
talking about that.
it's a good talk. It was a good
Mhm.
talk.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, I'm your host, Damon B, and I hope you enjoyed spilling the tea with me.